little U-Haul trailer so I can haul all this stuff that's sitting in my office next to me here, and it's pretty full. I have another bedroom filled with stuff as well. Jimmy is, and then we're all heading out on Thursday morning to go up to Watkins Glen International in New York. I forget what town it's by. Is that Watkins? Is it town actually called Watkins Glen?
There is a Watkins Glen. There's an Ithaca, the Finger Lakes.
Finger Lakes.
There's three of them, I believe.
Yeah.
We got sound. We're good.
You're good. Okay.
Yeah.
So, did you forget something?
I might have.
It's it's a given. It's all right. It's not like we we have anything important to say.
Well, we haven't gotten to the important stuff yet.
No. So we're headed off to Watkins Glen International. How many cars we got there, Paul?
Over 90 cars are going to be at this event this year. So, and Salins is going to be there, of course, too. This is the big Salins race, the ChampCar Dog at the Glen, and we're all very excited for that. And of course, Billy Salins is going to be joining us in the booth this year again, helping us call the race. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Sorry, my wife just walked by and waved at me. Billy Salin will be. Yeah, sorry,
you was interrupted.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Which finger was she waving at you, Bill?
Yeah, exactly. Smiling too. So yeah. So we're Billy Salin will be with Paulie, and is Tiffany going to be with you this weekend?
Yes, she will.
Awesome. So I'll be setting them up sometime on Friday so they can get tested and going, and we got plenty of cameras to go around the track, in cars, the whole bit.
Nice.
So yeah, I think we're going to put all the cameras in one car. Will that make it easy, Paul?
Yes, it will.
We'll have a tire camera, radiator fan camera.
Should be really exciting.
Put it in a BMW and put a turn signal camera on.
Very good. Very good.
So, yeah. So, Watkins Glen, we have 92 cars. I know I'm getting texts consistently with folks. I didn't get my garage. Hey, I did this. I did that. You guys need to not text me. You need to text the race director, which is Chelsea Vickery. I'm not going to put her phone on here, but if you go to the SUPs, download them, the text is on there. You can also send her an email. She'll answer that pretty quickly. But if you have any problems, do that. And or info@champcar.org. That's an easy one to do. And we'll take care of you. So sometimes things fall between the cracks. We try to fix them, but sometimes. So, yeah, we're getting ready, man. We leave Thursday morning. Guess Jimmy's going to set up Flagtronics Thursday afternoon. And we'll get a track day going on Friday. We're doing like 4 hours of track time. So get some guys will get their new guys out there, and I don't know. What do you think of track time, Paul? Do you think that's I don't know. You've been around ChampCar long enough to know that when in the old days we didn't do test days. It was just you showed up to the track. Sometimes we didn't even get to walk the course. It was here's the track, Saturday morning, start the race. Those outlaps are the first time we'd been around tracks. What do you think of that?
Here's the thing about track days is that Friday test day is the things that the drivers love it. It's the owners that don't like it.
Oh.
Because it's expensive and you're going to crash my car or you're going to blow the engine up. And then I don't want to work on it Friday night, trying to get it ready for Saturday. So a lot of the teams, drivers, we're all for it. Let's go. Let's get out, get some track time, knock the rust off. But for the owners, I think they kind of cringe their teeth and say, look, just take it easy out there. Okay, be careful. Place like Watkins Glen, you do have to kind of watch over your shoulder. There's not a lot of runoff room at Watkins Glen. In case you haven't been there before, you don't have a whole lot of room to bail out. So there are some corners you got to watch your back a little bit. Be careful. And, bending up the car when you've got all these guys that have flown in, driven, thousands of miles or whatever to come racing, and then you wad up the cars. That's not a good way to introduce yourself into the team.
Slap some numbers on the rental car, and tell Hertz it's all going to be fine. And I'm sorry, tell the rental car company it's all going to be fine. and go use the rental car for the test day. Because if the owner has built a 14-hour and 10-minute race car, that means you could run in 9 minutes in the test day.
Unfortunately, now with ChampCar, we only allow cars with roll cages, so you'll have to put a roll cage in it too. So cutting the roof off of
Oh, it's
rental
there.
car
But Bill, if it's a track day that's not sanctioned by ChampCar, if it's a track day that's put on by the track,
by the track, yeah,
you know,
possibly. But yeah,
There
these
you
are
go.
this one's a ChampCar one. But I
Uh,
didn't like it because I spent, a couple of weeks, 4 or 5 days, maybe 2 days, prepping the car, nutting it, everything. Just
you prep the
getting it.
car? Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, we did prep
well,
the car.
it's Bill
Mostly.
level prep.
Yeah, Bill level, not Troy level prep. So, but it was Bill level prep. And I remember my one of my drivers saying, "Hey, we're going to do the test day at Road Atlanta." I'm like, "No. I didn't plan on this. I only brought brand new tires. This is it. We're going to." And he said, "No, I want everybody in the car." I said, "Dude, we just drove the car in December. This is February." But he paid the money, and because he'd already done it without telling me, and we went out and did a test day. So,
What
but
about
yeah, that was scary because you're waiting for the car to come down the hill and hit something.
But it's the other side of it is if there's anything wrong with the car, like I was recently at Gingerman Raceway with a team that we really had the ability to win the race. And we go out and the taillights aren't working. One of the taillights wasn't working, and we had that Friday to get it fixed so that we could be competitive for the weekend. So it's good and bad. Even if you're an owner, it's nice to
Right.
find those little things that you maybe didn't know about that will come
Now,
up on a Friday. It doesn't cost you anything.
what I do like is sound tests because some tracks that have sound issues, we
Another
do.
thing.
Yeah, we do. Let's NCM. So we do a test at NCM, and the corner workers sit there and doing the sound test, and they put a list together. We're able to go to the team and say, "Hey, you're hitting 120 dB out there." Of course, we get the instant. It's got a muffler, but it's like, dude, fix your car. You got all day. Get out there and fix it. We'll run it again. We'll do a test and let it. And they go out there at 96 dB, and they're good.
Yep.
So that's always a good thing.
there you go.
So we're doing the test day on Friday. Don't wreck your car. And remember, if you do wreck your car and you leave oil strips on the track, you're going to get a bill from ChampCar for the cost of the cleanup. So test days are not exempt from all that.
We're spoiling the
It's actually
fun,
been
Bill.
pretty good. The last couple of races, knock on wood, the last couple of races have been pretty good. We really haven't had any track damage.
Shh,
Maybe we
shh,
can
shh,
keep
shh.
that going. You don't
Alright.
say it in the tower. You never say that in the tower.
You just jinxed it, Bill.
No, they're not. They're going to be good. All right, we have our annual board of directors meeting at 6:30 p.m. live from Watkins Glen Media Center, and that'll be at 6:30 p.m. on YouTube on this channel, actually on ChampCar Live, and that'll be fun. The board we went through a run through last night, which was pretty good. Should last about 2 or 5, 10, 15 seconds. They'll go through it pretty quick. You know how you get up there, you plan, and you start reading, and you just reading at 100 miles an hour. Next thing you know, you're done. It'll be like that. So we got the meeting going on. If you have any questions, ask on the YouTube chat. If you could, go ahead and subscribe to us now because you got to be subscribed to ChampCar Live to be able to ask us questions because we don't do that. We start getting all kinds of, I don't know, fruits and vegetables showing up on the screen and little links to places you really don't want to visit. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, you can go ahead and ask on there. You can ask on Facebook. You can send them to me either via Facebook Messenger or text at my numbers on the subs as well. You can go ahead and text me questions there. You can email them to me now if you have questions that I can ask the board. So, yeah, we're going to do that. And then the board will answer the questions to the best of their ability or just say no comment. You think they'll do that? No comment. Isn't that how they do sports press briefings?
Next question.
Yes. Next question. Oh, that's good.
Next question.
So we're doing that. And then it's party time. Everybody goes down to, what's that bar called there at, not Siebkens, because Siebkens
Now
is
that's
over
Road
at,
America. It's
Yeah,
the
Road
Seneca
America.
Lodge.
Yeah, Seneca Lodge. That's where we're all staying. So,
Nice.
Seneca Lodge, yeah, and
So you can stumble
good
right
food.
back up to your room and not even have to.
With my NA beer.
Exactly.
They do have some NA beers there. So.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So then Saturday morning, bread and butter time.
ChampCar Live.
Going to talk to Bill Riley, but he's off in some foreign land testing. I guess he's going to be back in time for the race. Maybe he'll be tired and won't perform as well. Isn't that the way it works?
Yeah, count on that, Bill.
Yep. Oh, and we want to do a reminder. We know that if you've watched TV the last 48 hours or so, what's that other race series, NASCAR? We want to put a reminder out there that fighting in the paddock will be cause for membership revocation. So, you don't want to fight in the paddock. Did you guys see that?
I did.
Yeah,
I did. It was
that was a good punch.
Heck of a right hook.
Yeah.
And did you see the shot from the other angle as he was walking back to his hauler, and Stenhouse was like waiting for him, like you knew it was going to be getting on.
Oh,
he just had this.
And Bush brought all his
yeah, the entourage. Yeah. There's got to be something
all choppy there, Brian.
Yeah. I'm choppy.
Is that me or you?
No, I think I don't know.
Is he choppy for you, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, it was crazy. It was it's a show, and I don't know, this part of the show. It's like WWF. But yeah, no fighting in the pit lane. Chelsea does not like that. So what else? All right, so start the race off. ChampCar Live comes on, and get to go racing. So who do we got going to this race? So I did some data.
Did that hurt?
Take off my glasses because it's so little. Yeah. So we have 15 Boxsters, Porsche Boxsters. We've got two 944s coming. I think those are the old visceral cars, so that'll be interesting to see. I've got an error that popped up. YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain a smooth stream.
Yeah, that's weird.
Guys will be buffering, so it might be you. It might be good.
All right, it should be back up.
All right, so got a couple of box. Yeah, clear that out. So, and then you know how many BMWs we got coming?
None.
Paul?
No,
You there, Paul?
I don't.
Oh, Ryan won. 29 BMWs. Like everybody's got a BMW, it seems like. A whole bunch of them. Let's see.
Miatas.
We got two M3s. But 14 328s. I'm sorry, 14 325s, 6 328s, two M3s, a couple of 318s and a 330. MX5s, we got our Mazdas. We have 21 Mazdas, with 19 being regular Miatas and two of them being MX5s. What's the difference? Is it the newer ones are MX5s, right? Brian, you froze on us again.
No,
buddy.
I don't think so. Well, most Miatas are MX5s. The vast majority of the ones that we see at the racetrack are MX5s.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Brian died on us there.
Yeah, he may have, but I'm watching the stream in front of me, and you and I are still cooking.
Okay.
No, there he's back.
Are we good now?
Seem to be.
Sometimes it's just
A couple of Corvettes. Got a Cobalt. A couple of Civics. A couple 300ZXs. Two Acuras. One Altima. One Lexus. I thought we'd have more Lexus, but nah. Got three Minis. And we had our first Mini finish in the top three here recently. And that was Wittenauer's Mini. A couple Subaru and a Volkswagen. So we have all kinds of cars there. So the race favorites, I think, are going to be, of course, it's going to be Salins. with their Porsches, and it's not because they're Porsches, it's because these guys have like a million years of experience at this track. They know every twist and turn and, how to take the corners, and they're just good. They're very consistent. They won there last year, right? Paul?
I'm sorry. I missed. You were talking about the Porsches.
Yeah. I mean, Salen's won last year, right?
I don't remember, Bill. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right.
When I
Yeah,
got this,
they all-
I'm not really prepared for our gathering.
Yeah,
At
none
the
of
very
us.
last minute. I've been busy today.
Yeah, me too.
I've been doing a lot
So-
of heroics.
We got the Corvette from Riley. That's always a perennial favorite up until the point that it doesn't. So he's either going to do really well or not. They send it. And then you have the new Corvette. That is, let me get their name. Where'd my window go?
Uh-oh, now you've lost your window?
There it is.
I got guys telling me that
I lost
actually the MX-5 didn't come out from 2006, and newer are the MX-5s, which I
Okay.
find really hard to believe. But
I think the rest of the world called it an MX-5, but still called it a Miata.
he's showing the NA and the NBs are just Miatas,
Yeah.
and the C and Ds are the MX-5s. That's what Mark is saying. And then another gentleman's telling us it was from 06 on that are actually MX-5s.
Yeah, when I got
So-
back from England in like '93, we were calling them MX-5s, and people look at me silly, like, "Well, it's an MX-5." No, it's a Miata.
Mm.
All right. What were we talking about? We were talking about the, we got Sparrow Speed will be there with a brand new Porsche. I think this is their first weekend in a race, I think, with that car. So that'll be interesting because they're really quick in that Miata. Rockwell, of course, has showed up with all his Miatas. He's got 3 of them. I'm sorry, Porsches. And Open Throttle, they usually have they have all BMWs and Miatas. But who's the new Corvette? It's the Eddie Mercury guys, Eddie Vedder.
Right.
Eddie Vedder won the first 2 races of the year, right? Or they won at Road Atlanta. They won at NCM, right?
Let's see. I know they won a couple races. Maybe was it NCM?
Or no, VIR. The VIR
Yeah.
12 hour. They won at
Yeah.
Road Atlanta, and then the VIR 12 hour, and then they didn't do the others. But yeah, they're quick, man. They come from NASCAR heritage. They're one of their guys is out of Mooresville, NASCAR team. Brian, you keep like freezing on us.
Yeah, I don't know how to fix this
it's
without starting over.
Corvette, it's not just due to the steam. The thing is so clean. I was looking at it at Daytona. I couldn't believe. The thing is gorgeous. It's immaculately prepared.
And they broke at Daytona, right? Something happened.
Yes, they did. They had engine failure, and it was early on too.
Because they had a good lead. I think they were just in the lead. They didn't have like a 10-lap lead or anything like that, did they?
No. I don't think they were that far out.
I don't think anybody's had a 10-lap lead
car
in
broke
any of
down
your
early.
races this
That's-
year, have they?
That's what I remember.
I don't think anybody's had a 10-lap lead in any of your races, right?
Yeah, we did a Charlotte years ago. I mean,
No, this year.
not the current. Yeah, I did. This year.
This
No.
year, I don't know if it was 10, but Vetter really smoked the field at one of those 2 races that we mentioned earlier.
I think it
There
was.
was a lot of
it was
laps.
VIR because it was. I want to say it was a weak field, but you can't say it's a
VIR.
weak field. But
And
yeah,
then there was somebody that got disqualified, which pushed them
Yeah.
even further ahead.
right. All right, Paul. So, who out of all these cars, who's your favorite?
Well, I have to go with Salins because the vast amount of experience they bring a a fleet of cars. They got the 2 cars, and they've got a tremendous amount of experience racing here. So you almost have to go with, I think, Salins. They're always very good. The cars are strong. They're well driven. So it's tough to beat them. I don't know of all of the teams that are there. I haven't gone through the roster yet. So I have to go back at it. I might retract that once I see some of the competition that's going to be there. but we do know that Salem up there in the front. And I don't know what's going on exactly under the cover here, but from what Billy told me, Billy Salem, he said some of the racing up to now has been a fight. This one's going to be a war. I don't really know what that means exactly, but I know that Clive Vogel's going to be bringing, as you said, that really powerful Porsche out that has so many wins and so many great. He's got that thing refreshed. It looks amazing, and I look for him to do really well at this event too. So
Oh,
it's
well,
going to
let's
be
talk
great.
about that. Let's talk about that because we watched that with the Altima that's also there this weekend. That car was kind of dominated back in the day with Paul Cruz, when they ran it, and then Rockwell did pretty well with it. It hasn't done well since. I mean, it comes down to possibly the team. It's not just the car; it could be the team. I mean, we look at even Salins. That team is really, really good at doing everything they need to do to win a race, to be up there, not just win it, but just to be in the top 10. Boston, the 901 Motorsports, those guys are really good.
Yes, they are.
It's
yes, they are.
It's not just the car; it's the team. So can Clive Bogle, can he put together a good team to replace, Ron and his son? That's going to be a big question. It's hard. I mean, you've run a car. I've run a car. Brian, you haven't run a car, but this is not easy. None of this stuff is easy in endurance racing. So, the CU Boulder team is going to be there. Heck, they could win, right? Anybody could win.
Rains, it's going to mix everything up. And this track, I mean, I've never had racing as much fun as I've had it at Watkins Glen. And it was in the rain. It's just crazy. But of all the years I've been racing, Watkins Glen was the most enjoyable race that I've ever had. This track has everything. It's got the elevation change. It's got huge bank, fast turns. It's terrifying. It's exciting. It's thrilling. It's got it all, really. And so, this is one of those tracks that it gets people worried about it because of the guardrails.
Right.
Okay. But when you go out there and you race on it, you find out this is actually a track that flows beautifully. You don't have to be afraid of it. In fact, you can ride this right up to the railing, just have a great time with the car and a great time at the track. And it's really not as foreboding, I think, as people think it is. If you spend some time in the simulator in iRacing, we have a ChampCar iRacing series. If you spend some time in the simulator at this racetrack, you'll get the feeling of what it's like to drive it. And it's actually even more enjoyable to race on the track, the real thing, than it is in iRacing. So if you haven't and you're thinking, maybe I should, I want to encourage you to do it because you will not be disappointed. It's a fantastic racetrack.
Right. It is. And I keep, John Whitnauer just brought up the Code 35s. It's hopefully we won't have a lot of that. We're seeing, we're keeping tabs on the data about how cars, what's causing cars to stop on track, what's causing the Code 35s. And a lot of it's just car prep, but it comes with new racers, new teams. And I don't see anything wrong with that. It kind of sucks, I guess, but, because you're trying to catch a guy in front of you. But, if we go back to the early days of ChampCar, Lemons, I mean, we had yellows all the time. It was, that was the time you took, just relax a bit and kind of figure out what you're doing right and wrong. And, oh, good, we're going back to racing. So Code 35s are pretty quick. And especially at Watkins Glen. Remember Watkins Glen? We'd be out for a couple of laps because we had to wait for the pace car to go out and then the pace car to come in. And we don't have to do that anymore, which is nice.
Well, and I think the thing to remember is it is a starter series. It's an entry-level series for not only the drivers, but the car owners, the teams. It just because you've been racing for a while, 4, 5, 6 years, doesn't mean you can lead a team and prep a car. And that's a whole nother level of what it takes to lead a team of people and bring a car that's adequately prepped. And all of the planning and the energy that goes into that really takes a lot out of somebody. And so, I think it's important to remember, we go out, we see these early stints, there's a lot of cars stranded on the track. It's trophy racing, and we're going to have that. And we're all learning and growing in the sport.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm watching the feed here, and it's almost like none of us are moving here and there.
You see my message there, Brian?
Oh, hold on.
I think we've kind of lost Brian. Your video, but we get your audio now and then.
Yeah, we're just having some technical difficulties out there in California. They have an earthquake or anything?
No.
Oh, now I've got no data.
Solar flares.
Might be. Look,
Well, that could
I have
be.
an app for that.
Yeah, I do not know. I dropped the bit right down to think that might help, but I don't know if that helped.
We have a
What's
minor
that?
one, but yeah. Well,
Do you want me
I
to?
started recording here a few minutes ago, so
Yeah.
Actually, now it's. Oh, I need to hit. I'm streaming.
All right.
Let me make sure though.
Yep, we got him.
You got us?
Yep.
There we go. We're back. Hey guys, sorry about that. Yeah, there we go. I had to take control. Sorry. Nobody likes it when Bill takes control. And I had to set up for the board meeting, so if you see
Well, we were talking about Watkins Glen,
Yes.
and we were talking about the track, and I had mentioned, there's if you unless you're living under a rock, Brian, everybody's heard about the diamonds they put in at the bus stop.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, there was some pro driver that they have their deltas all measured out. They know how much time they gain or lose in every section of the track. And the report that came back, hey, after we did the testing, okay, we lost 1/10 of a second because of those diamonds on the inboard side going into the bus stop. So, I mean, the moral of the story is what? Don't swallow the corner anymore. Just you can use the gators, but just don't go any deeper, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
How
it's
hard
like
is that?
any track. I mean, we've gone to. It's like, they put this stuff up, people complain about it for like 5 minutes. Do you remember when we went to Charlotte back in 2012 and they put up the big tire bundles on the front straight because they
Yep.
wanted to slow us down? They made this was before the front straight chicane. They wanted to slow us down so that we weren't going, because of course I guess we're idiots and somebody will full send it into turn one and not make it through. Much like Ed didn't make it through turn one race. I think it was the one before that. But there we go. All right, we're back. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we're hosting it out of Virginia now, so that might be why. Out in the boonies is better than L.A. But that's what you get for country fiber. I love it.
But other than that, they really haven't changed much at Watkins Glen.
No.
I mean, it's
They
it's
did
other than
do-
since the repave.
They did put at turn one. They did put soft wall. Not soft. What do they call it? Soft wall stuff. It's not
Safer
soft.
barrier?
Safer barrier at turn one.
Yeah,
So you don't want to hit that because that's going to be super pricey if you hit that.
but you got to get to Iowa before you hit it. I mean, it is way out there.
Jersey.
Who is
It's-
out there
yeah,
anyway?
yeah.
That's right. You'll be in
NASCAR.
Canada
Yeah.
before you get that.
So it's
Nobody's out there.
it's tough. I mean, you got to stay on the track. I know that Chelsea, I almost called her Shelby. I know that
Shelly.
Chelsea is going to be pretty strict on the going off track. You got to keep it on the racing surface. And the runoff is not really the racing surface, is it, Paul?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Bill.
Because I know that NASCAR, it's like you watch them racing around there, and every single car goes right up to the wall and turns right.
Yeah.
But we're not going to allow that. I don't.
Well,
I don't
Boris
think
has said at that racetrack, if you're going to pave it, I'm going to use it.
That's right.
we need to
Right.
We need to get Boris on here.
Oh, I'm all for that.
Yeah, we probably could. I think he's raced with us before, just quietly. I know his son did. His kid raced with us.
Yeah, the grip level out there in the rain is incredible. I mean, it's really an amazing track. It is terrifying coming off the carousel, going down into the boot in the rain because it's that off camber feel. And there are a lot of guys that get into the barrier down there, miss that braking zone, and slide off into that barrier. That happens frequently. But you know what I noticed, although that is kind of a hot spot down there, another thing that happens a lot, I'm not sure what happens, but people blow the bus stop. This happens a lot though. And they'll end up, there's like a stop and go thing you're supposed to do.
Yep.
I don't know. And so I think if you, otherwise you gain an advantage. I don't know about that, but whatever. They're going to black flag me anyway. You know, I'm just going to go.
Yeah.
So
but
what
if
are
you come to
ChampCar-
if you come to a stop,
You stop. and then
complete
go.
stop. Well, I think you have to wait for the corner worker to say, "All right, go."
But then you're 4 off. So you're coming in anyway.
Well, I don't know how she's going to do that. We'll find out when we get there. But that's a good. I got to ask her about that. It may be that if it's a safe reentry, because let's just say, and we've had people ask us this: hey, if I'm trying to avoid, 15 cars that have now turned right into the bus stop, the safest place for me to go was to take the runoff there.
Right.
We're not going to
Which
penalize
happened
you
to me
for that.
what happened to me when I was at Gingerman. It's just one of those. It's like, well, either I'm going here or I'm going to wad up some cars. This is where I'm going.
Yeah, because you were just so fast, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
Sure.
and that's the way we run it. It's we hear from the corner workers. If the corner worker says, yeah, well, he just went full blast, never came to a stop, rejoined, never lost a space, place, gained 4 positions,
Gain 7 positions.
yeah, then we're gonna bring you in and have a nice little talk to you.
Gain
So,
3 laps.
yeah,
We're not even mad at them. We're just impressed.
yeah. We on the logs, I've said that many times. It's like, oh my God, corner worker said that was the best spin recovery he's ever seen. I love those. But yeah, it's that, and then they repaved the whole track, right? Or was it only certain sections?
Well, some years ago, it wasn't that long ago, they repaved the entire track. When I went out there and I drove, and it's been a number of years. It was before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It was freshly repaved.
Oh, that's right.
It was incredible.
Yeah, because there were some IMSA teams that were writing us and, hey, can you guys let us know what the track's like, and
Well, we could let you know, but it would have been better if you would have come and raced with us, and then you would know for yourself.
Yeah. So
Not like our tires are anything like yours anyway.
Right.
Come out and race with us.
yeah, on 200 treadwear. I don't know though. From what I hear, some of those tires are like them, but that's a different subject. We're not even gonna.
Let's not go there. And the one good thing about the Glen is when it rains, since there's there's not a single piece of flat pavement anywhere at Watkins Glen, it drains pretty fast.
But
Yeah.
do not put your left tires or right tires onto those yellow paint stripes.
Oh gosh, no.
It will send you straight into that wall. And I have pictures of my car with the nose up into the dashboard. That's how scary that was. But yeah,
when
it's
when you come down, when you come off the last corner, and I think it's 11,
uh-huh.
that takes you onto that front straightaway. You inevitably cross over a yellow line. There's a yellow line there.
Oh, for
I believe
pit
it's
in,
taking
right?
into the pits.
Yeah.
And when you come through there, if it's wet, you want to be careful how much side load you're putting on the car, because the car will slide on that. It will step out.
And there was always a question about, is pit lane part of track surface?
Yeah.
I always
there's
said
a
it
lot of
was.
people-
I mean,
There's going to be a ton of cars that take that going into
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
11. I mean, that's
I think it
very
is.
natural
It's
to
up to the
cross
race
over.
director, and as long as they
would
do
be
it safely.
very difficult to avoid it. For
I know.
everybody to avoid that.
I know. There was one, I forget what track it was at. Somebody say, yeah, you can't go out there. And so I'm like, that's the line, but
Mhm.
I don't make those calls. I think they'll be fine there, but, yeah, turn 1, there's a lot more, traction going under braking than you would think in the rain. Cause,
Yeah.
that some tracks you go there and
Even-
you hit the brakes and it's just, you just want to slide. But
Yeah, even off, even outside of the groove that everybody lays down is when the rain is subsiding and you can see the tire tracks.
right.
Everybody wants to ride in those channels, but actually, it's great passing going around.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch. I'll put a dozen guys in the wall because I said that. I'm telling you, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And it's banked. You don't realize it, but it's banked
Oh,
through
the
there.
banking's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. There's turn
which
one.
is why it drains so well.
Yeah. And then there's a couple that are turn 6 and 7, as you go down there into is it the toe or the heel? The toe. You go down that section there. It's incredibly grippy through there, especially with the arrow and the cars like crunch down, and yeah, it was good.
Oh, you can send a car in there so fast. Like you wouldn't even imagine. There's like no other corner in the world you can hit as hard as 7.
Yeah.
The way you can go, just throw the car in there.
Until you
You just
can't.
gain so much grip.
Until you can't, because I did that. I kind of spun the car around. It's like, what the heck just happened? I mean, I ended up backing the car into the blue
Guardrail
fencing. Yeah, and I think that was the most painful hit I've had. We were using the Kirky, or I can't say a brand name, but we were using an aluminum seat back then, and I backed the car into the guardrail, and that hurt. That hurt pretty bad.
I think you're like the Mythbusters of ChampCar, Bill, because everything you've said that everyone says that can't be done, you've just said you've done it.
Like what? Oh, spun there? Oh,
Yeah.
we could spin in the banking at Daytona. That's kind of how our team was. We were either really good until we weren't, which was, usually when the wheels came off, and
Right.
we ran out of fuel or whatever and missed a pit stop, things like that. So no.
Well, I was racing an E36, super forgiving. It's a very easy car to drive. So
Yeah, I was in the
that
MR
thing
too.
was amazing out there, and the tires weren't even that great. Our tires were kind of wiped out. I was racing in the rain. Now, it was incredible.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, just fast, a wicked quick track. It'll definitely make a man out of you.
Where is your favorite part? Is it 7 your favorite? Mine is the S's, but the uphill S's.
I don't know if I have a favorite. I definitely love the climbing S's. I mean, the 7 is incredible. I love 6 that going into the boot, it's off camber and you're just kind of I don't know what's not to love about this racetrack. It's amazing. There's a lot of people that really love the bus stop.
All right, let's go.
I don't mind the bus stop. I think for me at some tracks like Mid Ohio, that first leg, I'll charge in there very hard. I do the same thing with NCM, but with this track, I learned I took that course circuit studies.
Oh, right.
Mike Skeen, I think is his name. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, Skeen did that.
He actually throws away that first leg, which I understand because it's all important really to get out. But then you get a strong run out and you're going right into the carousel. So I don't know how much that really matters. But in this, because they've put those diamonds in there, yes, you're going to have to be a little more cautious going into the entry. He actually brakes really early, but I think he was driving an aero car, which is very different from what we drive. So,
yeah. All right, Paul, we're going to go through some teams here. You tell me what you think of them. So we got 901 Motorsports. They've got 2 cars coming. Shanneman is probably going to be there, right? That's Yellow Gloves.
Well,
him and his son.
Very well prepared race cars. They've had some issues in the past with some driving mistakes here and there that's done a lot of damage to those cars. But if they keep their noses clean, they're incredible. Both very fast and very durable race cars. Okay,
I'm not going to mention the EC cars because they don't really count. They'll have their own little race. But Action Raceworks, they're showing up with a Camaro. Acura for now. Some of these teams I haven't really heard of, but Acura for now with their Acura TSX. AOA Racing, they've got 2 Mazda MX-5s. They've run with us before. They're pretty quick cars. They got young guys.
Yeah, and they bring a fair amount of experience. I believe they're racing in other series too. So that's going to be a team that's going to do well.
They're Spec Miata guys, aren't they? I think AOA Racing. I think so. Atlanta Speedworks. They've got 3 cars. They've got all Boxsters. They are our national champion too, I think, aren't they?
Yeah, and the cars. The thing about the Boxsters is they're not exactly a power monster, but you bring them to a handling track and they're going to be really amazing because they're always going to be later on the brakes. and their rolling speed through the corner is going to be higher than about anybody out there. So it's going to tear up the tires a little bit, but wow, they're going to be strong. They're going to be really strong out here.
All right, BLM with Bogle Legacy Motorsports. Clive showing up with the old Visceral Racing car, national
He's
champion
excited.
car.
And who isn't? I mean, Visceral Racing Group. Those cars were so amazing under, under the wings of Ron, and so I think everybody's excited to see those cars back at the racetrack again. And Clyde has a tremendous amount of experience working on Z cars. So we'll see what kind of a package he shows up.
Yeah, he's a Datsun guy. How is it? How's that transformation from a Datsun to a German Porsche? You have to get a whole new set of tools.
Well, I think I'm a Datsun guy, and I think what it comes down to is he's highly experienced and skilled at working on older cars and putting them back on the racetrack or putting them back on the road. So I think he's highly skilled. And the biggest, the thing about endurance racing is keeping the car on the racetrack.
And Blocks Racing is showing up with their Chevrolet Cobalt. That could be the what do they call that when the Cobalt
sleeper?
Yeah, the sleeper. That could be the sleeper of the week. B-class Cobalt. Boston Winers, long time ChampCar racers with us. They're usually Northeast group. They've got 3 cars. All BMWs, one 330i, which is probably something newer. It's a 2003. Got a 91 F-Class 318 IS that did pretty well at Thompson last year, and their 2000 BMW 328i. So Boston Winers, they have some history with ChampCar.
They have history. They have history doing really well with ChampCar. And I think it's important to remember of all these teams, when you get into the more experienced teams like Boston Winers, is to look back at what happened at Road Atlanta with the Birmingham Racing, a team that finished 3rd with the race car. That's their best lap times were midfield. It just goes to show if you keep that car on the racetrack and stay out of the pits, and just keep those pit stops clean and lean, you could do really well in this series.
All right. And Broke My Wallet with their BMW. I think we all know Broke My Wallet if you're a race car builder. Continuous Rotation Racing. I love that team name.
Yeah, it's great.
They've got their Miata. CU Boulder. They're coming to this race. They're coming all the way from Boulder, Colorado, with their class car, which is the Mazda. Or they've got a new one, a BMW 325i. So they were racing out in Boulder or out in High Plains. They raced the Miata. So this will be kind of cool to see how they can do with a BMW.
Yeah, that's a course. That's a college team, and so these are young drivers, and they put these cars together and they come up and race with us. So it's always great to see them come out and race with us. It's a lot of fun.
We have another team that contacted me earlier this week. We're going to have a meeting next week about coming out as a school team. So they're looking at doing a car too. Except, guess what kind of car they decided to run?
Please tell me it's not an MR2.
No, it's not an MR2. Keep going.
Is it an Opel?
Oh my God. They decided to choose an Opel GT because they're cheap and they have a lot of points to play with. So I'm going to talk to them about that. It may not be the best choice in cars, but we'll see. We'll see.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's
that's a strange choice. We've got our staples. It's the Miatas and it's the BMWs.
Yeah.
Those are, there's a pretty easy package to put together and
They should take a 195 Mustang where there's billions of parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could do that, but Miata is, I think, the best way to go. It's mainly because there's just they're everywhere. Parts are everywhere. Yeah. And they're cheap. So, all right.
They're relatively cheap. They're lightweight, so they're easy on gas. They're easy on tires, which is better for the beginning.
Easy on
racers.
brakes.
Yeah. All right.
Cheaper.
Eddie Vedder, 1991 Chevrolet Corvette. What can you say?
It's gonna be another one of those things. Obviously, they're gonna be destroying the field on lap times, but can they keep the car on the racetrack? That's gonna be the deciding factor.
Energizer
for everybody.
Yep. Energizer Bunny in their 2007 Volkswagen Rabbit. I don't know what class that is. They didn't put it down. So 2007, I don't know. And then Far From Losing, I love that name. Far From Losing Racing and their 94 325i BMW. Few Screws Loose, Flat Earth Racing, Fours Racing and their Mazda Miata. Full Send Motorsports. Full Send's been in this a couple of years now. GABB, I guess Gab Racing and their Mini Cooper. Girded Loins Northeast. I didn't know they had different versions of Girded Loins, but they're showing up with a 325i. Few Screws Loose. Another, it seems like a newer team. Flat Earth Racing. You know, those guys will be fast with their Subaru Impreza. So,
Oh no.
people ask us why Subarus don't race with ChampCar, why we don't see a lot of them, because on the street, they're like, don't they dominate the street? Maybe I'm getting old and that was a bunch of years ago, but
Well, I mean, they're great on the rallies.
yeah.
But you guys try to keep your cars off the dirt.
Yeah.
That is key.
Yeah. So you got Fords Racing and Full Send Motorsports with their BMW. Oh, we already did these guys. Oh, Gorilla Sticker. They're showing up with their 328i S. And Gorilla Sticker's been racing with us for quite a while.
Yeah, a long time. They've really punished a lot of racetracks in the ChampCar series, and so that's another one of those teams. They usually come with more than one car, and a lot of drivers with a lot of experience.
And then, of course, you know, Haywood Family Racing, though they're Haywood Racing now. They used to be the Haywood Family were out there racing. They've got 2 cars this year, both Mazda Miatas. They have a long time experience with ChampCar. And then Hera Flight Racing, they've got 2 Honda S2000s, and they've raced with us a couple times this year. S2000, I don't know, man. On paper, they should be dominating. We had the Rockwell car pretty much leading the 24 until it didn't a couple of years ago. But the Rockwell at the time was running an S2000 as well. Infinite Loop Racing and their Ford Contour. Another sleeper, man. The Ford Contour dominated saloon car racing over in Europe for a long time. So, except they were known as something else over there. JS Motorsports, K2 Autosport with their Chevy Camaro. Cargo Racing. I like that one. And Karnowski Rosal Racing. I probably just destroyed that. They've got a D-Class Ford Mustang. That's another car I think might do well. The newer Mustangs. That's an 85 Mustang, though. We'll get down to the newer ones here in a minute. Coco and Brothers with their Mazda Miata. Last Minute Racing and their BMW. Legitimate Racing and their Ford Focus. And Masshole Motorsports. Those guys have raced with us for quite a while. I know that Masshole name. MDR Motorsports, and they have a Boxster and a Miata. Not in the same car number, 830 and 831. MLC Racing's got a couple of cars. They've got a Chevrolet Corvette and a BMW. So that'll be interesting. See the toolbox on that truck. North by Northeast Racing, and then OFIC Racing and their number 2 BMW 328IS.
Rodney Yearwood.
Rodney, yeah, guys are quick. They're good. They're well-maintained car. They can do it. They've been in the top 10 in some pretty big races.
Yeah. His races have been, unfortunately, very up and down. There's been times when he's been super amazing up there up front, and then there's some other times it's some mechanical thing. Kind of typical racing, I guess.
Yeah. And then Ben Dasher just says that he's always wanted to go to the Glen. Love to show everyone why you should bring a Toyota. I agree. And if you ever need a driver, let me know there, Ben. It's a Toyota MR2 if you didn't know that. That's Leviathan. Open Throttle, they've got a whole bunch of cars, because they take up the paddock normally, don't they, with all their green cars with the open throttle?
They're coming to all the races. It seems like all the big races, they're there with a fleet of cars. So they're often, we see those cars up front.
Yeah, they've got an E92, an E46, and a Mazda Miata, a 94. So then Prefect Racing with their Lexus SC300. Prefect's one of those teams, that Lexus SC300 has one of those big fuel tanks that you kind of want. It's basically a super suspension on a Lexus and a super engine. in an NA engine in that car, and they're quick. They're aero. They got good aero.
They are.
And that team can drive.
They really can. They almost always put that car up at the front at some point in the race, and it seems like the races where they really shine are when the races are a little bit shorter. They seem to do well in the 8 and 7s.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas we get into the big races, there's something that seems to happen. So this could be a really, really good result for that team.
Right. And then R&D Motorsports with their Nissan Altima. And that's another car that can do. It's a 06 Nissan Altima, which I think is a 3-liter, but they're quick. That Nissan engine's quick, man, and gets good mileage, and it's quick. Ram, R-A-M-N, Ramen. Oh yeah, Ramen Racing, and they've got the noodles and the spice packet, both Miatas. Rampage,
Nice.
Rampage Motorsports, Red Barn Racing, and Red Cow Racing. They're there. And Ready Imports Racing, Reuben Performance Group, Rhinoceros Racing, last year's national champion, Rockwell Autosports. And congratulations, he just graduated from dental school. So now he's a is it DDS? He's a dentist. So yeah, Rockwell's going to be there with they've got 3 Boxsters coming. That's a lot of cars, man. He wants to win this. And they've been running races in WRL too, so they've got a lot of track time this year.
He got a lot of track time, period.
Yeah. Roll With It Racing in their BMW. Rossmar, Millhawk Racing, and Rossmar has 3 cars coming. They've got a Honda Civic and 2 Miatas. So that'll be interesting to see, Rossmar with a Honda Civic.
Yeah, they campaign, I think, more cars than anybody in the series. It's an amazing count that they have on race cars and champ cars. So, yeah, they're certainly going to be in the hunt.
Rubber Soul Racing in their BMW, and one of the founding cars of ChampCar, Schumacher Taxi.
Oh wow,
they've been here forever.
Yeah,
they're running. What are they? They've got a 328i, and they always had Animal from Muppets in the back, just waving at you as you pass them. I'm sorry, as they passed you.
Yeah.
Jerry Enger used to run a lot with those guys, and yeah, him and I had some good racing over the years. And then this year we got Section 8 racing with 2 Mustangs, those newer 2006, 2007 Mustangs.
Yeah, those cars are sick too.
Yeah,
nice. They seem to be nicely prepared, and we seem to see them working their way up through the field too. So Section 8 is tough.
They did have a big off at NCM during the national championship, but he had that car rebuilt, I think, before he got home, didn't he? Had the whole nose crushed in.
Yeah. Showed up at the next race that we were covering. So
yeah,
it was amazing.
Sennheiser Racing and their Mazda Miata, Sent from the Gourds. That's always a good name. Sent from the Gourds and their BMW. Shut Up Racing. You know, it's like, how do you announce that on the show? Shut Up is coming in first. Yeah, come around the corner. Saya Sanders Motorsports. I probably killed that name, and their Mini Cooper. Sparrow Speed. Sparrow Speed's another one of those cars. They're showing up with a Porsche Boxster. And as we said earlier today, that's a team you got to watch because these guys are pretty experienced when it comes to endurance racing.
Yeah, they have Sparrow Speed has a tremendous amount of experience. But just as you were going in, I'm like, wow, there's another Porsche Boxster. Man.
Yeah. And because they've historically run the Miatas. And he always had this beat up Miata, but it was like always at the front or it was always heading to the front. And he's been racing with us for a long time. Street Fighters and their Honda Accord sedan. It's just not any Accord. It's an Accord sedan. So Stroke and Checks Racing, Team Bruce Innovations and their M3. That's a EC car. And of course, Salins, our sponsor for the weekend. They're bringing 2 Porsches. They have the Porsche Boxer, both 99s, ketchup and mustard. What do you know about those cars?
Where's Relish?
Relish is wasn't that one wrecked or something?
Oh,
I think it might have got wrecked. I think was Relish an RX-7? Paul?
We'll have to ask Billy about that.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
All right. Team Z with their Nissan 300Z. The green. Yeah.
I want to build the 200 SX just so I can call it S Cargo Racing.
We have one. We already got teams like that.
Yeah.
Not just one. I think there's two.
I
Yeah.
thought I was original.
No. I think ChampCar Go, you'd have to get the, what was that French car that was the 505, the Peugeots. You'd have to get a Peugeot and call it ChampCar Go. David Kisak raced the I think it was the Peugeots that he raced back in IMSA days during the 24-hour races here at Watkins Glen, way back in the day. He got T-boned pretty bad there too, like wrecked in the S's, upside down, spinning, all kinds of crazy stuff. He told us the story on the show one time. The Green Machine and their M3, the Science Project. That's always a good car to bring to a race, right? Turn-in Concepts, they brought two cars, a Porsche and a Miata, so that'll be interesting. And Tooth Autosport, they returned. Wow. They're now finally allowed to come across the U.S. border from Canada, and it's great to see those guys with their Honda Civic. It is an EC car now, but I always like those guys. Tooth was always, they're good guys. They're really good guys.
Yeah.
I think they're out of Calabogie is where they're out of up there. Weiser Blitz Racing, David Kisak's Porsche Boxster. That's one that could do pretty well, but I asked him today, can you win it? And he got, we're just out there having fun. And, so he's going to win.
I know he was looking for a driver at one point, so I don't know if they were able to fill that seat or not.
Wilson Daly Racing in their BMW. Is that like somebody famous? Sounds like a famous name, Wilson Daly, like a IndyCar name.
As I remember, they do
two IndyCar names mashed together.
Okay. And
could
then
be Carson Taylor.
Could be. And then Z-Tech with their Porsche 944, which is Z-Tech car is the other 959 from Visceral Racing. When Ron sold up the team, they ended up buying that team or that car. And so that'll be pretty cool to see. And Visceral did pretty well at Watkins Glen. So it'll be good. And that's all 92 cars. And, I'm losing my voice, but all right. It's 10:08. Sorry. We had some technical issues here earlier, guys. Hopefully, guess what? We're at 31 cars or 32 cars for Nelson Ledges.
Nice.
Believe it. We're close to, I think 40 cars for the Chicago race. Where's that? Autobahn?
Autobahn.
Yeah, it's the numbers are big there. It's the most cars we've had since 14. So that's good. Sebring is picking up, and we're close to 70 cars there, if not over that yet. I didn't look today, but I saw some numbers coming across our PayPal. So people are paying their races. And then right after that, we go to the VIR 24-hour race. So get signed up for that. I'm pretty certain that we're going to have a bunch of folks signing up for that right after Watkins Glen, but get signed up. We need to show the board that we got these, we got people interested in these races. It's really important. So financially and big. But yeah, so Clive says safe travels, everyone. See you on Friday. So I guess because he lives up in the Northeast, right? So he's got to take off about now. To make it to Watkins Glen. All right. Anything else, Paul, before we head out?
No, it's just Watkins Glen. Just remember, this is, and I noticed somebody in the chat saying that they always wanted to go there, wanted to bring a Toyota. There's almost always seats available as you get closer to the race weekend that you can get out and get involved. I know David Kisak had a seat. I think there were some other guys that were looking for drivers. So there's always an opportunity to come out and fill those seats, and it just gets another team out there for sure to race with us in the TireRack.com ChampCar Endurance Series. And don't worry about the weather because this track race is great in the wet or in the dry. It doesn't make any difference. It's a total blast. You'll have a good time.
Yeah, it's a great track. Have you been there, Brian?
I have.
Have you raced on it? Driven on it?
I have not raced on it. I was a crew member for a guy who Paulie just brought up earlier that he took a class from.
Okay. Who was
Mr.
it?
Skeen.
Oh, yeah. Skeen,
yeah. Yeah, he was doing way back in the day the American GT series. It was a Mustang. My job was to make sure there were no bugs on the front bumper.
I love it.
I was the aero specialist. I had to make sure there were no bugs on the front bumper.
Skeen runs with us every now and then. He's
Yeah.
gotten up there in the big leagues, so he doesn't have
Yep.
as much time as he used to have. But yeah, you'd see him and his wife in the paddock at our races, and especially with the longer runs, the 24s and such. And he loved running
Yep.
a VIR. And it was always great to see him there. So, all right, guys, we have the board of directors meeting coming up Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Be there or be square. And remember, you can ask all our board of directors anything. What is that called? An AMA? Ask me anything.
Ask me anything.
Yeah, but just don't ask anything. Yeah, we need to get this done. And
If it becomes an ASMR meeting, I'm tuning out.
what's an ASMR?
You could Google that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to now. But,
Okay, boomer.
But yeah. All right, Brian. All right, guys. All right, Brian,
All right.
you can finish this off now and cool.
That's going to do it for another episode of Inside Champ Car. If you like what you hear, subscribe to the podcast. You won't miss any episodes. It'd be great if you share it on your social media channels. Comment on the Champ Car Facebook page, especially if it's a good one. We have new episodes every week. That's Bill Strong and Paul Veltum. I'm Brian Bielanski. You are listening to the Racing Wire Podcast Network and watching Champ Car Live. Have a great weekend and go play with cars.